If you plan on moving to LA and you want to be successful when you get here, this is the video for you. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Y'all already know who it is. It's your boy B Scott, and I'm back here today to give y'all my 1 year update on living in LA with the twist of teaching you how to win. So that way you gonna learn some of the things that honestly, if I knew before I got here, oh man, I would have, like I'm taking off now, but I definitely would have been a lot further than what I am. So I want to help y'all get one step ahead of me, you know, before you even touch down, all right? All right, so let's start here. Why did I move to LA? So my top reasons would be, one, the amount of creatives, right? Like always watching LA through social media and different things like that, you always see all these content creators live here. And for myself, I always know I had like a big vision on things I wanted to do with content, and I'm still not even there yet, by the way. But I was like, man, I feel like LA could even help me unlock that other side, and that it has done. Do y'all hear me? Because the amount of just people who are always camera ready, always down to do some content is absurd. So if you got anything content creation related on your mind, come to LA, all right? Next thing was, I wanted to understand what this industry was, okay? So the industry would be dancing, music, modeling, acting. I would say those are the main four pillars. You can break those down into subcategories however you want. And I just wanted to understand, how did it work? How is it? Like, is it actually easy to break in? And are them doors to Hollywood sealed shut? And I learned, all right? Let me tell y'all. Now, this is super important. If you plan on aspiring to be one of those four pillars and you come into LA, just know that the competition is high, okay? And I don't even mean that in a bad way, but I just want you to know that, like, you need to come here serious and ready to go, because like when you start seeing other people's work ethic, and I know comparison is a thief of joy, but I also think the positive side of comparison is realizing what you actually going up against. And LA will teach you that, man, you can have looks, you can have personality, you can have charisma, but man, that's just not gonna be good enough. You gotta really go after it. You feel me? And I just think if you already got a hunger to be great, it'll just like up that hunger because you're around so many people that want it. And lastly will be the weather. Like we all see 365 days of sun. By the way, it's really not. But coincidentally this year, it did rain for like 3 months straight. Talking to other people who've lived in LA for years, they said they're so thankful for it because it literally was just hot every single day for like 3 years straight. And as you all know, that reservoir had dried up, and so now it's almost back full, or it is full, it's overflowing. And so now this summer going forward is going to be great, because now there going to be all these water restrictions and different things going on that was definitely making the summer a little tougher this last year. All right, so let's get right into it. So today I'm going to share with you my top 7 tips that you need to know to be successful once you come here to LA. And I'm also going to throw a little spin on it to just kind of let you know why it's easy to fall for those traps, like from this LA mindset and perspective that could definitely get the best of you. Number 1 is to have financial backing, okay? What I mean by that is like have a job lined up, have a nice little cushion of savings for yourself, because first of all, LA is expensive to be here, all right? Don't let anybody fool you into thinking anything else, all right? And next up, when you're chasing after your dream, it's like a continual investment, especially in the very beginning, all right? What I mean by that is, like, I want to give y'all like a phenomenal example. Y'all might have seen an actor before in a commercial or on a TV show and all those other things. Y'all like, oh my God, you made it, because that's what I thought before I got here. It does not mean that. Listen to me, y'all. I know so many people that's been on films, commercials, TV shows, and that still wasn't their one. And now they back grinding, trying to get more auditions, trying to make things happen for themselves. You know what I mean? And with that being said, everything is a continual investment. Unless you are just super connected, and as soon as you touch down, you know a film director, they're gonna put you in the next movie, and now you gonna take off and flip that in whatever pillar you decide to chase after: dance, music, acting, or modeling, like whichever one you go with. If you already know somebody, okay, bet. But if you don't, you just got to understand how expensive things are. Like if you want to be a model, you're going to need to get digitals. You're going to need to go on photo shoots. And yes, people might do them for free, but for the most part, like you might have to pay too, all right? And some people don't even like talking about them paying for things, but it's like that's what you got to do when you invest in yourself. You feel me? If you want to be an actor, you got to take acting classes. These go for $250, $300 a month. You're going to need headshots. You're going to need to subscribe to a bunch of these websites like Casting Networks and Actors Access, like to be able to build up everything. Like if you want to be a content creator, you're gonna need things like Canva and TubeBuddy. It's like, you see my point. Like I can keep going, but it's just you gotta continually invest, especially in the beginning, because one of the biggest things I've learned about LA is like every single day there's a U-Haul outside dropping people off and taking people away, okay? Because just as much as you think you're the one, you could end up a random in that U-Haul heading back home with your tail in between your legs because you wasn't financially prepared for this battle that's about to ensue when you get to LA. Tip number 2 is to figure out your purpose, all right? And I don't mean deep into the psychological, like, what's your why? I mean, if you know all that too, that's even better. Like that'll get you even further because you won't fall victim to things like peer pressure and all, and you'll like know yourself and value yourself. But okay, I mean right now, it's like figure out what you want to do once you get here, okay? Like if you want to dabble into acting, you want to dabble into music, you want to dabble into content creation, modeling, great. Figure out which one is best for you. But at some point, you need to narrow down and go for what you're going for. Now, if you want to trickle off and do things around that, like if you want to do acting, right, but then you also want to do content creation, and now you're creating skits which allow you to act, but you are pursuing acting, that makes sense, okay? Because what's going to happen is there's so much opportunity here that you'll turn around and end up thinking you could be a jack of all trades. And if I had to tell y'all how many jack of all trades I've met since I got here, that just you ask them what they do it all, and really they're not succeeding at nothing. It's so many people like that. And it's not even because they don't have no drive or nothing. It's just that this is when I spoke on that competition. It's so high that if like you're an actor, but you're good, but somebody else is putting in over 100 more hours than you a week and they're great, they're going to get booked way more than you are. And maybe you'll pull through and get a couple lucky ones, but just trust me, at every single avenue, the competition is extreme. So you gotta learn to separate yourself. The only way to do that is to take yourself serious into whatever purpose that you are going for. You gotta commit to it and like go for it. Like me, after dabbling around a bit, I decided acting is just my thing. I want to one day win an Oscar. And so for me, I got to lock in on acting, and everything I do now is just centered around acting. Like the community I'm building, everything around it, because that's just the route I want to go. So it took me about 7 months from when I got here to figure that out, but I would definitely say the sooner you figure it out and you start aiming in that way is the faster you will be successful. Tip number 3, build a community. Listen, y'all, this is so important, okay? If you've ever seen a bunch of videos online about LA, why you shouldn't move to LA, what is the number one thing people complain about? Not having friends, not having a community of people that really care about you. Like, the thing about it is, so my first couple months, right, I really just locked in and focused on myself and everything I got going for me. And remember, I'm a person who has worked on themselves for years, so I like unconditionally love myself. I love being alone with myself. Like, I know how to get things done by myself and I can just make things happen. But we all enter a point where I'm gonna give community from 2 standpoints. First, just the lonely aspect of like, you don't have nobody to kick it with, nobody to spend time with. And one of the worst things you could do, and I've lived by myself for 4 years now, like I moved out to Cali alone then, so I learned this like after probably my 2nd year, is continually only speaking to the people who like are back from wherever you from because they're close to you. And I'm gonna tell you why that's a downside, because they no longer live your life. You now live in a new place. You might be on a new time zone and everything else. And now you're like, well, I got friends. But no, you're going to need new friends, okay? It's just straight up, especially if you plan on living out here. Like I plan on living in Cali for like definitely more years. And so, I mean, you need a community. You need people that fool with you. You need friends, all right? Now, here's for the second part of community. They don't only become your connections in general to maybe you open a door for them or they open a door for you, but they also can hold you accountable for your own success. All right, so I used to believe, I'm straight up before I got a community of people who we all hold each other accountable. I used to believe that I could hold myself accountable. That is a lie. Why? Because in our own minds, it's just a circle, right? If you're like, oh yeah, I know I'm gonna do this on this day, yeah, it's a possibility, but if you don't do it, you can easily make excuses for yourself that sound so good that you'll just believe it, and now you find yourself never progressing. But when you got people expecting you to show up with things done. By the way, I'm actually adding some context. I'm doing this video right now, which I wasn't going to do for a couple more days because literally I meet with somebody in my community tomorrow and this video was supposed to be done by then and edited. So like I got to do that today because it's just part of the accountability aspect, and you don't want to keep showing up to people in your community and then you're like not bringing value to the table. You know what I mean? And so it's just one of those things where it just really helps keep you on your game along with just having people to kick it with and spend time with that you can actually like throw ideas off of and everything. So yeah, community really important. Is it easy to build a community in LA? Oh, that's a tough question to answer. And I say that because like there's endless people here that are by themselves that would love to like coordinate with you and collaborate with you, but you really do got to watch out for the people that's just looking to hop on and leech off of your success as you continually go up, because it's endless people like that here too. So what I would recommend is that you pay attention to people's mindsets. When you talk to them, don't ask them what do they do as your first question. That's going to make you come off as if you're a leech, you know, like try to figure out their personality, try to figure out their likes and dislikes, see what they're into, see how their mindset revolves around things that you're into. Like me, I'm on to high frequency, high value, no surface level conversations. So one of the first things I'm asking people is sometimes it's like, hey, so random question. What have you learned this week about yourself that you feel like you've improved on, you want to improve on, that kind of caught you off guard? Like, tell me a little bit more. Like, that's the type of things that I talk about off the back. If you just ask me how my day is, I get bored. And so for me, it was pretty easy as I'm like having these conversations with people to kind of weed out like, okay, this person I can fool with, this person I can fool with, bet, and then like, bet. And I've been building a community from that. Tip number 4 is to move with intention. And what I mean by that is you just got to really recognize that like things aren't just going to be given to you, okay? Like when I tell y'all the competition is steep, it's not even from just a like everybody going so hard aspect. It's about a point of like, so for one audition, right? And you might have 1,000 other actors that's literally going for that same exact part, okay? Then you got like modeling. You could get casted to show up to see if they want to use you. It's 200 other models there. Dancing. Before you even like get to sometimes audition, they walk down the line and just say thank you, you stay, thank you, you stay. You know what I mean? And so with all that just being said, is like nothing is given to you out here. So you got to make sure that all your decisions that you are making are leading you exactly to where you want to go. Because if you sitting around waiting for a handout, man, I can tell y'all how many people I know here that are miserable because when they got here, they were so used to being given everything. And then they get to a place where it's like, no, what do you bring to the table? And like people are in shock because they've never had to experience this before. And so they don't understand that like how cause and effect works and that your decisions lead you exactly to where you want to go. So just make sure when you get here that you move with a purpose, understanding that your decision is going to lead you to wherever you end up going, and it could end up being where you want to be, or it could be in the shittiest place possible, and it's definitely possible to end up in the shitter out here in LA. Tip number 5 is to do your research on everything. All right, now I really mean this before you get here, because there's some things that you probably can take care of right now before you even get to LA. Because let me tell you, I was looking at moving to LA videos for almost like a year and a half before I actually made the move to LA. So you probably got time, especially if you're anything like me and you just been thinking about it and you just want to like kind of keep learning before you finally pull the trigger and make it happen. And what I mean by that is like, okay, let's use acting, because I told y'all that's where I'm locked in at now. You need self-tapes, you need headshots, you need to take acting class, things like that, right? There are acting classes that are online. Like the class I go to weekly has an online class that some people take from different states, and they're like doing the class weekly to see, do they really love acting? Is it over Zoom? Yes. Is it different than being in person? I would agree because I've done them both. I just prefer in person, but some people prefer Zoom. Like, and it just gets your feet wet before you touch down here. So you need headshots, right? And you could go check out my Instagram if you want to know what headshots look like, or you could just Google it. And there's probably a photographer in your area that you could just go to get headshots before you even get here. You know, you want to be a model, right? They need digitals. Digitals is usually like white t-shirt, straight on, to the side, profile pic, you know what I mean? And you could research what exactly these agencies want by just going to their websites, figure it out, and you could turn around and be submitting to certain things like from your home. And it ain't gonna work that same way with something like acting, because you actually gonna need to get some credits. But like modeling, you could easily just go and be submitting before you even get here. I know a couple people right now that's here with some really good agencies that did all those things before they came, so that they could come and potentially have a job lined up. And so just make sure you do as much research on whatever you want to be when you're at home, right? When you're not risking it all and you out here living in a $2,000 apartment every single month, but you don't even make $2,000. You know what I mean? Like, that's the time to do it while you back home, okay? So definitely just do your research on whatever you want to be. It'll be a game changer for when you actually arrive. Tip number 6 is to enjoy the process, because nothing is going to happen overnight. And this is really important because, like, all right, I want to use myself, okay? So I'm in tech, and so I got like a financial backing coming to LA to chase after my dreams. And when I got here, I definitely was a leg up on like a good amount of people, only because like I'm like already kind of financially together, and now like I work my job, and then after that I could just invest whatever I wanted. So I needed to like pay for classes, I was just able to do it. If I needed to pay for headshots, digital things, I just was able to do it, right? But the thing about that is you start believing, because you got the finances to continually invest in everything that you're doing, that you can expedite the process, and you can't. Because while you might have all the equipment and you're able to make things happen for yourself, you still got to get in those casting rooms. You know what I mean? Like, you still got to get signed with an agency. You still got to actually become a good actor. I don't care how much equipment you got, don't make you a good actor. Like, you actually need to know how to act. And so one of the things I even stopped doing was stop investing. Stop putting out more money, like, to set myself up to be in a better place when I already invested more than enough. Now it's time for the process and just the execution of just getting better in my craft. You feel me? And this is when that community come into play. Because like I got another community person who I'm meeting with towards the end of this month, because our schedules are kind of busy. And we're literally just going to do self-tapes back to back to back. We're writing out our own scripts. We're going to do self-tapes and just work on our crafts in the genre. Right now, I'm gonna work a little bit more on comedy, because people say like I just fall right into that like style. And then they want to do, I think actually they want to do comedy too, so it's funny. But it's just the point of like, you know, this is how we getting better now. We're not investing anymore. I did all the investing. Now it's time to make things happen. So yeah, so just know that one audition, one TV show, one commercial don't mean you made it. Like, it's gonna take a lot more than that to make it out here, all right? And tip number 7 is to truly live within your means when you're here, okay? Like, I wasn't gonna do a whole financial budgeting conversation, but like, you gotta just understand where you at compared to other people, okay? And you gotta recognize that like, some people's schedule is gonna be different than yours. Like, I got one friend that's fully industry, okay? Like, they like a really, really big model. And so they don't work a 9-to-5 job, you feel me? Like, they literally just go on shoots, and when they're not on shoots, they free, right? And so they be inviting me to events at the randomest of times, but I can't attend those events because I gotta work my job and then invest in my own craft so I can one day be officially all in, you know? And so what I've noticed that some people do too is they get here and they just start living outside their means, trying to live up to other people's standards. And you got to realize what is your standard and stick to that and live to that. Like, it will change your entire trajectory here, because you like know who you are and know the type of people that you're going to attract into your life. You feel me? So just make sure when you get out here, you don't get to LA and start living outside your means where you're struggling month to month, because that definitely does happen. All right, so I hope everybody enjoyed this video, man. If you end up moving to LA, I look forward to seeing you. I just re-signed my lease, so I'm definitely going to be here for another year. I plan on being here even longer, but that's just my point. You know, you take it year by year. You feel me? I've learned a lot. I've grown a lot. I definitely look forward to seeing everything I'm going to accomplish over this next year. The trajectory, I feel like, is going to like take off way smoother, because now I just understand so much more, especially a lot of things that I just taught y'all and things that I like learned along the way. I also did an 8-month update where I think I deep dive a little bit more into like the mindset of what happens to people when they move here. And I talk a little bit about relationships on that one. So feel free to check that one out. And yeah, I see everybody in the next video.